Earthquakes that destroy entire cities, massive wildfires, devastating tornadoes, and tsunamis. According to Global Change Data Lab, natural disasters take the lives of approximately 60,000 people each year. Mother Nature seems to send us every possible signal to make us realize that this is not where we belong. After the bloody wars, genocides, totalitarian regimes, and other atrocities of the 20th century, humans haven't stopped destroying the planet and each other in the new millennium. Maybe it's not too late to pack our bags and evacuate to a safer planet. But where? Today, you have the unique opportunity to join the crew of the next-generation spaceship called Riddle Voyager. Together with the world's top scientists, we'll embark on a journey in search of a new home. We'll compile a ranking of the most promising exoplanets and determine which one is the most suitable for life. We'll also explore the farthest galaxies and find out if there are living organisms beyond Earth. What traps may be hidden on attractive-looking exoplanets, and just how far away are potentially habitable worlds located? So, let's go! But what if I told you that you can own any planet right now without ever leaving Earth? These amazing super-realistic rotating Moa globes are the perfect gift for space enthusiasts and more. Currently, over 40 designs are available, featuring various planets, moons, and asteroids, and all this high-quality imagery is provided by none other than NASA. But the best part is that Moa globes don't need any batteries or power cords, they're powered by the Earth itself. The globes rotate thanks to the interaction of small magnets with the currents constantly generated by our planet's magnetic field. So no more toxic waste or tangled wires, even dim light is enough to activate the Moa globes. So, what are you waiting for? Use my promo code RIDDLE10 when ordering at moa.com and get a 10% discount. All the information is in the video description. Now, let's get back to the exoplanets, but first, we need to determine what criteria our ideal candidate must meet. The Habitability Index, developed by NASA, will surely come in handy. It can range from 0 to 1, any planet that scores higher than 0.8 can be considered Earth-like. For example, Mars has an index of 0.64 and Venus 0.78. Not a bad result, but it falls a bit short of what we're looking for, doesn't it? Today, scientists consider Kepler for 52b as the most suitable exoplanet for life, but we don't just take their word for it. We're setting our navigation to head there and check it out for ourselves. Astronomers call Kepler for 52b a close cousin to Earth, and it's about 60% larger in diameter than our home. NASA scientists speculate that this exoplanet is rocky with liquid water on its surface. But it's not the only thing that makes Kepler attractive for settlement. The orbit of this exoplanet is only 5% longer than Earth's, so a year on Kepler lasts 385 days. This suggests that the changing seasons and their duration here are almost the same as on our planet. So it's entirely possible that people could grow grain crops on Kepler and provide themselves with food. However, we'll need to ensure not only a food supply but also the protection of the first colonizers. After all, the star Kepler for 52 is 20% brighter than our Sun and 10% larger in diameter. Therefore, humans will be exposed to more ultraviolet radiation than on Earth. But in all other aspects, Kepler for 52b is a perfect fit for us. It's just the beginning of our journey, and we've already found such an amazing planet. Right now, it's at the top of our list of potential homes for humans. However, it's too early to celebrate. The likelihood of this planet having a rocky surface is approximately 60%, so we risk settling on a gas giant, which would be extremely challenging, if not impossible, to survive on. It's quite a serious problem. It looks like we need to revise our ranking a bit as Kepler for 52b suddenly doesn't seem so flawless. And even if this exoplanet does turn out to be Earth-like in composition, we might face serious gravity-related issues. Considering Kepler's greater mass, the gravity pull here will be stronger. As a result, the planet's atmosphere may be denser and create a powerful greenhouse effect. Moreover, Kepler's star, even though it's a yellow dwarf like our Sun, is much older, which is why it has evolved to the point where it heats the exoplanet more intensely. As a result, water on Kepler for 52b, if it ever existed there, might have already evaporated. So instead of landing on a super-Earth, we might end up on a super-Venus. But for now, that's only a guess. According to current data, the temperature on the exoplanet could be around 2 degrees Celsius if it lacks an atmosphere, or around 30 degrees Celsius if it does have one and it's similar to Earth. But in reality, most of what we know about Kepler for 52b is just scientists' assumptions. Above all, it's because of the colossal distance between this exoplanet and Earth. Kepler lies about 1,400 light-years away from us. It's one of the farthest among all potentially habitable planets we've discovered so far. This is why Kepler for 52b should actually be put at the very bottom of our list. We need to find something closer and less mysterious. Time to move on. But do we have to limit ourselves to the factors that make Earth habitable? What if space can surprise us with something entirely unexpected and much better than everything we could ask for? As of 2022, scientists have discovered 5,000 exoplanets. A significant number of them are situated in the so-called habitable zone around stars similar to our own. This is the distance from the parent star where conditions suitable for all life forms to exist could potentially form. These very characteristics brought us to the constellation of Draco. According to our data, this is where we can find a G-class star similar to our Sun. But we can't see any celestial body in the habitable zone of GSC. Did scientists make a mistake in their calculations and we traveled all these light-years for nothing? Suddenly, we notice a bizarre red glow in the barely visible outlines of a planet. It's a gas giant called TRES 2b. In size, it's slightly larger than Jupiter. How did we miss it? Well, it turns out that TRES 2b reflects only about 1% of the light from its star. That's even less than black acrylic paint and soot. In fact, it's the darkest planet known to humanity. It's pretty strange considering how close TRES 2b is to its star. It should be the source of vast amounts of light for its exoplanet. American scientists David Kipping and David Spiegel believe that the probable cause behind this is the chemical composition of TRES 2b's atmosphere. To be exact, the presence of sodium, potassium, and titanium oxide, which are very good at absorbing light. But that's not its biggest drawback. You see, TRES 2b is tidally locked, which means it's always facing the same side towards its star. On one hemisphere, it's perpetual day, on the other, it is perpetual night. Potential life here would only be possible in a narrow strip between the two hemispheres in a sort of twilight zone. What makes TRES 2b unsuitable for us is the temperature. It soars to a scorching 980 degrees Celsius. While building a colony on a gas giant might be theoretically possible, surviving in total darkness and blistering temperatures is definitely out of the question. Long story short, this exoplanet takes last place, replacing Kepler for 52b. So we better get moving unless we want the Riddle Voyager's hull to completely melt after such a hot planet. A bit of cool air wouldn't hurt. Space is full of surprises, so maybe right now we'll come across something totally different from TR2b. We've traveled 39 light-years away from Earth and found ourselves in a system with 7 planets orbiting a small star called Trappist I. It is a dwarf star with about 9% of the Sun's mass and a radius of approximately 12%. Research conducted by scientists at the University of Washington showed that this region of space harbors planets that evolved similarly to Venus. That means any water on the surface was supposed to evaporate during the early stages of the system's formation, but we know that one of the exoplanets there may have retained its water. I'm talking about Trappist Ie. Andrew Linkowski, a graduate student at the University of Virginia, believes that if Trappist I didn't lose all of its water due to the ultraviolet radiation from its star, it could be entirely covered by an ocean today. If so, its climate would be similar to Earth's. Unfortunately, the Kepler and Spitzer telescopes couldn't gather precise data about the exoplanet's atmosphere. Although, according to researchers, Trappist Ie might have an overly dense oxygen-rich atmosphere, so people would need special masks to make the air breathable. Due to the uncertainties about the atmosphere's density and a lack of detailed information about this planet, let's place Trappist Ie in 4th place. We hoped that a planet's suitability for life wouldn't depend on its similarity to Earth, but alas, it seems we were mistaken. Can we really survive only on a world like our own? Take a look at these two celestial bodies resembling a planet and a moon. They seem like two peas in a pod, just like Earth and our moon. Now imagine that instead of our pale neighbor, a whole planet appears on your horizon, and the horizon itself looks like a scarlet lava flow. Welcome, we've reached the exoplanets Kepler 36c and Kepler 36b. These celestial bodies can be found 1,530 light-years away from Earth in the constellation of Cygnus. Kepler 36b is 1.5 times larger than our home, and at the same time, it's as heavy as 4 of our planets combined. This giant completes a full orbit around its star in just 14 Earth days. Its neighbor, Kepler 36c, doesn't lag behind either. This exoplanet's weight is 8 times greater than Earth's, and a year here lasts 16 days. The distance between these two Keplers is almost 2 million kilometers. For comparison, Earth lies at a distance ranging from 40 to 260 million kilometers from Venus. How did these exoplanets, so dissimilar, end up so close? That's a mystery indeed. However, scientists suggest that Kepler 36b might have been a gas giant in the past. Over time, its hydrogen-helium envelope evaporated and exposed its core, transforming it into a planet with a solid surface. According to researchers from the American Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics and the Washington State University, every 97 days these sisters come closest to each other. When passing by one another, the planet's gravitational forces significantly affect both of them, causing global earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. Besides, both Keplers are positioned so close to the star that their temperatures rarely drop below mind-blowing levels. So even if by some miracle we manage to land on one of these planets, our spacecraft and crew would turn to ashes almost instantly. All these factors suggest that Kepler 36c and Kepler 36b belong at the bottom of our list of habitable planets. This means we must continue our search. We've got to arrive at and inspect 2 more candidates, and we have data indicating that one of them might already be populated. So will extraterrestrials give us a warm welcome? At a distance of 22 light-years from Earth, or 200.108 trillion kilometers, we come across GJ667cc. A GJ667cc's approximate mass is almost 4 times greater than Earth's, earning it the title of a superplanet. Yet, due to a lack of data, scientists can't determine GJ667cc's exact parameters, which is crucial for further study. A larger mass means different gravitational acceleration compared to Earth, potentially making objects on GJ667cc much heavier. It completes a full orbit around its star in 28 days. So those of you who enjoy New Year celebrations will get a chance to have 13 times more fun, that is, if we're talking about Earth years. Since this planet is so close to its star, it's highly likely that it always faces the star the same way, resulting in perpetual day on one side and eternal night on the other. The temperature difference between the two sides is quite dramatic and affects the global climate. The temperature ranges from -27 to +27 degrees Celsius. Despite this, scientists believe there's enough room for liquid water to exist on the planet's surface. So even though GJ667cc resides in a habitable zone, the conditions on this planet are very different from what our home planet offers us. Living organisms on it might encounter a bunch of issues like unstable levels of light, high atmospheric pressure, and powerful solar flares. Nevertheless, even on Earth, there are species that adapt to extreme conditions. I'm talking about the so-called tardigrades, also known as water bears. These are tiny creatures measuring up to 1.5 millimeters. They live in hot springs, ocean depths, under ice, and can even be found on the summits of the Himalayas. Their adaptability is so remarkable that it allows them to endure temperatures ranging from -273 to +150 degrees Celsius. Moreover, they can survive without water and even with high radiation and ultraviolet radiation exposure. Scientists confirmed this when tardigrades returned alive from experiments conducted in low Earth orbit. It seems these creatures can withstand the impact of space conditions. All right, now we know that tardigrades would undoubtedly survive on GJ667cc, but what about humans? One of the main dangers on this planet is ultraviolet radiation. In particular, it could trigger cancer and cause critical eye damage. Despite this threat, GJ667cc still gives us hope for a new home. So, considering its relatively comfortable temperature, proximity, the presence of water, and dense atmosphere, for now let's put it in first place. Although, there is another exoplanet worth our attention. This newcomer was discovered in 2022 by a team of German scientists from the Max Planck Institute of Astronomy. Can it take the lead in our ranking? We're looking at Wolf 1069b. What makes this planet most attractive is its closeness to its star. Yes, you heard that right. If Earth and the Sun were that close to each other, such a position would lead to unbearable temperature spikes. But in this stellar system, everything seems okay because the local star is much smaller than our Sun. According to researchers' estimates, this exoplanet receives only about 65% of the energy from its star compared to Earth. And still, this amount of energy is enough to keep the planet warm. Computer simulations suggest this exoplanet might have moderate temperatures and an atmosphere similar to ours. Not a bad start, but what about other characteristics? Unlike Earth, the exoplanet always has only one side facing the source of heat and light, and, once again, we'll have to deal with eternal day and eternal night. Despite this, we could happily live on the border between the bright and dark hemispheres if it weren't for one thing. Harvard astronomer A.V. Eiler believes that the atmosphere of planets like Wolf 1069b are usually more vulnerable to disruptions by stellar winds and ultraviolet flares. The scientist emphasized that if the atmosphere is too thin, planets cannot have liquid water on their surfaces as it would evaporate. This is what happened, for example, on Mars. To sum up, Wolf 1069b is quite a decent option, however, due to its complex relationship with its parent star and the lack of sufficient information about its atmosphere, it would be risky to consider this planet the sole alternative for colonization. So, who emerged as the winner and claimed first place on our list of exoplanets? It's time to tally up the scores. In third place, we have Wolf 1069b. Kepler for 52b gets the silver. Finally, our winner and our main hope for the most life-friendly exoplanet is GJ667cc. But no matter how much we dream of a space sanctuary away from our turbulent planet, no matter how captivated we are by the unseen mysteries of other worlds, we must remember that everywhere we go, we will only be guests. Even the seemingly hospitable GJ667cc has many treacherous traps. For instance, due to intense ultraviolet radiation, we might have to build settlements underground. Besides, we would feel 1.5 times heavier because of the high gravitational acceleration. That means a person weighing 75 kilograms on Earth would weigh 120 kilograms on GJ667cc. People would need to wear special exoskeletons to move freely. Another surprise is the likely strong magnetic activity of the star. Red dwarfs often have spots that can reduce the star's brightness by up to 40%, and these periods can last for months. Such variable lighting conditions could be problematic not only for people, but for other organisms as well. In other words, at the moment, Earth remains the only planet able to guarantee safe living for humans. Experts believe that life on our planet has endured for at least 3.5 billion years. It's withstood ice ages, meteorite showers, and even deadly radiation. Clearly, wiping out all species on Earth isn't so simple. It could be much wiser to shift our focus to studying our own planet so we can help it survive for as long as possible. What do you think? Should we continue our quest to find a new home in space or try to preserve the one we already have? Share your thoughts in the comments.